Three stages in a woman's life. When her need for a relationship intensifies, the unfiltered reality explained in depth. There are three very specific moments in a woman's life when her desire to share her life with a partner increases significantly. This doesn't happen by chance. It's not just an emotional matter. Psychological and biological factors also play a role. And if you're a man who can't identify these stages, you'll continue to misinterpret women's behavior time and time again. Most men believe that women desire a relationship in the same way throughout their lives. However, that idea is far from the truth. Scientific evidence paints a completely different picture. Psychologists specializing in human development at the University of Chicago analyzed women's motivation in relationships across different age groups and found something that is rarely discussed openly. They discovered that a woman's desire for a partner doesn't remain constant over time. On the contrary, it increases markedly during three specific and predictable periods. And most importantly, what she's looking for at each of these stages is completely different. The results surprised even the researchers themselves. Let's start with the first stage, between the ages of 18 and 22. This is the exploration phase. During these years, the prefrontal cortex, the brain region responsible for long-term planning and decision-making, is still developing. For this reason, her attention is strongly focused on the present. She seeks new experiences, intense emotions, and passionate romantic connections. She isn't thinking about where she'll be in 5 years. She's focused on what excites her today. At this stage, she's generally not looking for a life partner. She's accumulating experiences, learning about herself, and discovering what attracts her. Therefore, the type of man who usually captures her attention reflects exactly this mindset. Someone who brings adventure, enthusiasm, and energy to the present moment. But this is where things start to change. The second stage occurs between the ages of 25 and 30. It is during this period that many things begin to transform. The environment around her evolves. Her friends begin to marry. Many close acquaintances start families, and they build more stable relationships. At the same time, what is commonly known as the biological clock, a phenomenon that numerous neuroscientists recognize as real and not simply a social construct, begins to generate a subtle but constant sense of urgency. Researchers at Columbia University, analyzing female attachment patterns, discovered that during this stage women no longer seek only emotional connection. They begin, often without realizing it, to evaluate men from a different perspective. Now factors such as stability, character, responsibility, and long-term potential come into play. The same woman who at 21 prioritized excitement and intensity, at 28 begins to value reliability and future security. So, if you've ever noticed a woman suddenly raising her standards or adjusting her expectations, know that it doesn't happen by chance. There's a profound reason behind that change. And then we arrive at the third stage, between the ages of 38 and 45. This is probably the most misunderstood phase of all. By this time, she has accumulated enough experience to have a much clearer view of life. She has built something of her own. She may have experienced love, heartbreak, or even both. And it is precisely at this point that many women reach one of the most important and revealing periods of their entire lives. Her priorities shift once again. She is no longer interested in impressing anyone. What she seeks is security, not necessarily from a financial perspective, but from an emotional one. She begins to deeply value consistency, genuine presence, and authenticity. Psychologists refer to this phenomenon as the shift toward authenticity. At this stage, superficial attractiveness loses much of its power. What truly matters is emotional depth and genuine connection. Now, here's the truth every man should understand. If you meet a woman at any of these stages and don't understand what she's really needing at that point in her life, you'll end up misinterpreting her behavior. You'll think she's complicated. You'll believe she's contradictory or inconsistent. But the reality is different. She's simply responding to a specific stage of her life that she's likely going through.